Meanwhile, Senate Democrats unveiled their billionaire tax in an effort to pay for Biden's massive spending plan. $2 trillion, we're told it costs now. The tax would go into effect for the year 2022 tax year. It's expected to impact taxpayers with $100 million in annual income for 3 consecutive years or assets of over $1 billion. This plan is aiming to raise upwards of $200 billion as Democrats propose a 15% minimum tax on companies with at least $1 billion in profit. Joining me right now to talk to us about all of these plans and what the spending plan means is New York Congresswoman, House Republican Conference Chair, Intelligence Committee and Armed Services Committee member Elise Stefanik. Congresswoman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Good to be with you, Maria.
So what are your takeaways on all of this? Let's go through some of the new developments that we know this morning, and that is that Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin apparently have agreed to go along with a 15% minimum tax. Joe Manchin also said that he told President Biden his bank surveillance idea is a no-go. And then, of course, we've got this billionaire's tax, all of which does not appear to be enough to pay for all of this spending that they want to do on climate and social programs. Your take?
Well, first of all, the American people should know that what the Democrats are discussing is the largest tax increase in our nation's history, but it's also the largest spending bill in our nation's history. This is over $5 trillion, and that's taxpayer dollars. So even when President Joe Biden says it costs nothing, it costs the American people over trillions of dollars, which we do not have. We are already facing historic levels of debt and deficit under this administration. But the policies are also far left socialist policies that this bill is absolutely riddled with. You talked about the IRS agents. The Democrats want to pass an army of IRS agents, doubling the number of people who work for the IRS who will be able to spy on every working American's bank account. The tax increases would be a tax on innovation, on success, and would make us less competitive around the world, particularly challenging when we see a rising China. So this is a bad deal. It's full of socialist policies. The devil is always in the details, Maria, though, so over the next couple of days, we will see if many of the Democrats break their promises to the American people and go along with this far-left socialist package as Joe Biden just does what the progressives want.
Well, I don't understand how he continues to get away with coming out publicly and lying to our faces, telling us that this costs nothing. I mean, how is it that he's not called on explaining that? It's obviously at least $2.5 trillion, but that means that all those gimmicks we're supposed to believe, like some of these federal programs, go away, which we know they're not going away, which actually, when they don't go away, come to your number, which is $5 trillion. You know, he also said that the border is closed. He said that he's been to the border, which there's absolutely no evidence of. Is there ever going to be any, accountability where he's forced to actually tell the truth to the American people?
Well, you do a good job on your show, Maria, fact-checking this administration that lies on a daily basis. And it's very disappointing that the mainstream media does not follow suit. Look at how they cover the Trump administration. They are not doing their job as objective, fair media. They have become so biased and, frankly, lapdogs to this administration. We know that Joe Biden's $1 trillion bill is going to cost the American people, cost the American taxpayers. And despite the media's inability to cover this, the American people are smart. Voters are smart in my district. They know that not only will they be paying this bill, but their grandchildren and future generations will be paying this bill. And you brought up the border. This is another issue that the mainstream media continues to try to sweep under the rug. We are facing the most significant crisis at our southern border in over 30 years. In September alone, it was the highest number of illegal border crossings on our southern border in our nation's history. This is crisis after crisis under this administration, and we need to hold them accountable, which is why Republicans are fighting back, and we are focused on winning back the majority next November. We have to save our country.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could call this administration anything other than totalitarianism. You've got, the censorship of free speech. You've got mandates on vaccines. You've got now plans to surveil our bank accounts. And then there's this power grab on education, Congresswoman. You wrote an op-ed on FoxNews.com on how Democrats are seeking to control the education of America's children, putting parents on the sideline. Tell us about this and what you can do about it to put parents back in the driver's seat when it comes to their own kids?
Well, first of all, I want to thank and give credit to all the parents who are standing up and fighting on behalf of their children to make sure that they get the best education possible and holding these officials accountable for far-left curriculum that we're seeing in school districts across the nation, particularly the parents of Virginia who are super organized leading into the gubernatorial race, which, of course, is important next week and important to save our public education system. It is required by law. We passed this on a bipartisan basis when Republicans were in the majority that the Department of Education and school districts are required to share the curriculum with parents, that there is an engagement policy with parents. That is the exact opposite than what the Biden administration Department of Justice has announced, which has said that they're considering parents who speak out regarding education issues for their children to be domestic terrorists. That is illegal. We are going to hold them accountable. And what's interesting, Maria, is when we reached out to the Department of Education, they were not even aware that this was in law. This was part of the K-12 education reauthorization bill that we passed on a nearly unanimous basis when Republicans were in the majority. So by law, parents are allowed and should be engaged in their kids' education, and schools are required to have a parental engagement policy and required to get parental feedback when it comes to curriculum development. So they're breaking the law in Virginia.
But you know, I mean, this is, look at this. I mean, 2 days after asking Biden to target parents as domestic terrorists, Biden appointed the National School Boards Association president, Viola Garcia, to a federal board overseeing student progress. So, you know, I mean, Terry McAuliffe tries to say, oh, I didn't mean it that way. He tries to backpedal out of that comment that he made that parents have no role in their kids' education. And then Biden just goes and he puts this woman, Viola Garcia, to a federal board overseeing student progress.
It's ridiculous. And when it comes to Terry McAuliffe, he meant what he said. It was not the only time he said that parents should have no role in their children's education. He has said it over and over and over again. That's why his poll numbers are plummeting. That's why there's such high energy, particularly in the suburbs, where we have seen just outrageous overreach and, frankly, cover-ups that we've seen in Loudoun County when there are serious, serious public health, public safety issues happening in our schools. Virginia needs to turn out big for Glenn Youngkin, and not just Republicans, but those independents and common sense Democrats who understand that parents have an absolute right to stand up for their kids and be engaged in the education for their kids. What we're seeing from the Biden administration is just yet again on education, on border, they bow down to the far left.
Yeah, it's really interesting what's going on in Virginia, and I do think that the Democrats are very worried about this race, also worried about New Jersey. That's why Biden went to Jersey as well as Virginia. Do you think the outcome of the Virginia gubernatorial race affects the Biden agenda? In other words, if Glenn Youngkin were to take the win, do you think that hurts the agenda or no? They still push for it?
Well, it's a great question. The fact that the Virginia race is even close and in single digits, that is a win for the Republican agenda, because I talked to a lot of very scared Democrats who are very scared to take this vote when it comes to this $5 trillion reconciliation bill. They know that the American people disagree with this agenda. They know that as the American people learn more and more about these socialist policies, that they're going to lose support. In upstate New York, we have many quote-unquote moderate Dems who are anything but moderate. They vote lock, stock, and barrel with Nancy Pelosi. They are worried about being on the ballot next November because they've broken their promises to their constituents. They're not being bipartisan, as Joe Biden promised in his inaugural address. They are being the most partisan Democrat majority and Democrat presidency in our nation's history. So I do think it affects the overall agenda because Democrats are not going to be able to push through these progressive issues, which is why there's such hysteria right now trying to get a deal on this reconciliation package before next week.
And real quick before you go, is there a goal to pass the infrastructure package? Is that even possible to pass the infrastructure package this week? And if it doesn't, will you be forced to pass another highway extension?
I think it's likely that there will be another highway extension. Regarding the infrastructure bill, I mean, the Democrats have tied that directly to this $1 trillion spending and tax package that has amnesty. It has taxes on heating your home bills. So there's not going to be significant Republican support, unfortunately, because we don't support that $1 trillion bill. If the Democrats were serious about passing bipartisan infrastructure, they would actually be bipartisan about it and reach out to the Republicans in the House to truly craft an infrastructure bill. And they haven't done that from the beginning.
Yep. Elise Stefanik, it's great to see you once again. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. We'll be watching all the developments.
Thanks, Maria.